Welcome back to another episode of Full Retard. Today we have more Choosing Beggar stories for you. First up, Aunt Wants Free Art 'Cause Family by The Quiet Kid 8. I'm 15 female and I've started selling digital art commissions in July. My aunt knew about it from my dad and the conversation went like that. I heard you're accepting art commissions. Yeah, it's going good so far. I've sold X commissions already. Oh, that's cool. Congrats. I was wondering if you could do portraits of my kids. She has 4 kids. Me, thinking she wants to buy the portraits. Oh, sure. I'd be happy to do that. Would you like separate paintings of each of them or one with all of them? Do you have a picture in mind? I would love a family portrait, actually, if you can do that. Here's some pics I have in mind. Shows me the pics, which are full body of total 6 people. Oh, these are awesome and really good references. That will be $65. I usually charge $40 for one full body portrait. I do digital realism. But because she's my aunt and I know they don't currently have a good financial situation, I lowered the price from what would be around $220 to $240 to $65, and this is her response. Choosing Beggar, her facial expression turns nasty. What do you mean $65? You mean it's not a gift? Confused. Oh, I thought you wanted to support me by commissioning me. Well, I don't think I'll have time for a free painting of 6 people. Maybe later on, I'm sorry. Oh, wow, you're so doing portrait paintings for strangers, but you don't want to do a painting for your auntie? It's a great practice for you after all. If anything, you're the one who has to ask my permission to draw my family. I'm so disappointed your dad never taught you to respect adults. Then she went out of my room and slammed the door. But me being me, I got really mad and got out of the room after her. Look, I don't think I'll ever actually end up doing anything free for you. Also, if anything, you are the one disrespectful. My work and your work isn't even that good. Now stop being rude and go to your room. You are not going to tell me what to do in my parents' house, and you better watch your own manners before picking on somebody else's. She got red as if she was going to explode. Then Dad came and found the situation hilarious, but still got mad at me because he agreed that I was being disrespectful. Honestly, whatever. We got some Choosing Beggars content out of this. Next up, I got a job interview for my wife's brother, but he walked out because he didn't like the position offered. Now he wants my recommendation for another job by Valor Morgulis. My wife's brother and I work in the same field. Basically, we're both software engineers. Around 4 years back, he decided to quit his job at the multinational company he worked for as he wanted to focus on his side hobbies. That didn't work out for him, and within a year, he was back looking for jobs. A year back, he asked my wife if I would be willing to recommend him at my company. I asked around, and there was a position open. I got him an interview. It turned out that he walked out from the interview because he wasn't happy with the position they were offering, and also that he'd be working under me. He even sent a strongly worded message to me that I insulted him and that he should be able to work as my equal since that was the position he resigned at. Said that I was probably jealous because he was better qualified than me. Now he wants me to recommend him for a position at another company, and my recommendation would carry weight since I've worked there before, but I refused. I told him to apply like any other applicant would. He said that there are a lot of people applying and he wants an edge over them, and also that my refusal looks petty. I posted this on Am I the A-hole, and someone said this belongs here. Next, never again will I sell on Facebook Marketplace to someone who gives me a sob story by KMS 1410. This lady messaged me about an Apple Watch that I was selling. She literally started the messaging by stating that she had a seizure earlier in the week, which is sad, but also irrelevant in this situation. I had to go into work at 4 p.m., but she wasn't able to meet until after 5, so I had my boyfriend do the meetup, and I gave her his number just in case they needed to get in contact with him. At about 8:13, I get a message saying, "Hey, girlie, I can't get logged into the watch because of the Apple ID." And I respond with, "OMG, I'm so sorry. I thought I got that all cleared up prior. I'm at work right now, but I'd be more than happy to clear it for you from the iCloud when I get off." So then around 9, I get text from my boyfriend. She's using the number I gave her to text him, asking him to meet back up with her to trade back because she can get it for $40 more at Walmart, which, if you are willing to do that, you should have checked into that first, in my opinion. I cleared the device from Find My iPhone once work slowed down and the device should work fine now. But now she's completely ghosting us and won't open messages. I don't want to come across as a bad seller because I was more than willing to accommodate for the inconvenience and fix the problem. Next, angry customer doesn't pay but takes part in giveaway by Cert Log I-93. So a while back when I was just starting my business as self-employed gold and silversmith, I got asked by a customer to design a ring for her. We talked back and forth until she said she could decide and had to see the finished ring. On top of that, her budget was only around $40, although it was a tricky design. So I made the ring and sent her a picture. She really liked it. Then I wanted her to pay me, and she didn't reply anymore. I repeatedly asked her if she still wanted the ring, and even though she had read all my messages, she didn't reply. Then after a month or so, she entered one of my giveaways I was doing on my fan page. Still hadn't answered yet. That was the point when I had enough. I had done all the work for free, and she didn't even bother to answer or anything, so I posted her ring and said it was a new bottle in my shop. Then she immediately sent me a message about how furious and disappointed she was that I posted her ring I designed for her. I asked her why she didn't reply but yet entered the giveaway, and she told me she was in a hospital or something. I heard this excuse several times now over the years. She then proceeded to and moan about how unfair I was. Long story short, I told her to go F herself for taking advantage of my time and kicked her out of the giveaway. The said ring in this story is one of my best-selling models, and I made a bit over $1,000 when with it counting up to today. Last, Crocheting Isn't Free by I Really Can't RN. So I just saw a post about family wanting free art, and that reminded me of this story. I make crocheted items, toys, clothing, baby stuff, dice bags, etc. And I made a ton of stuff for my boyfriend at the time because it was good practice when I started out at 17. I ended up making him a really intricate dice bag for D&D that had hundreds of stitches. Took me a couple weeks to make, and designs I had to sew into it after it was crocheted, etc. Like this thing was detailed and intense. I've made skirts that took less time and effort than this dice bag. My fingers literally would lock up while making this because I would do it for hours at a time. Eventually it was done. I gave it to him for Valentine's Day, and he was very impressed and grateful. I also got girlfriend points since I made it for D&D, and at the time, I had no interest in it. Well, his mother saw it and asked if I could crochet something similar for her for a purse. I told her I could, but it'd probably be a couple months, and the yarn alone would be at least $50, maybe more depending on colors and what designs she wanted on it. She said she'd buy all my supplies, and her friend had some yarn she wanted to get rid of anyway, so I wouldn't have to worry about the price, and I could start it later that night. Keep in mind, it was Valentine's Day. I politely said that I only work with certain yarn because I don't like dye coming off of my fingers, and since this piece would take at least 2 months, probably more, I didn't want risk being stained for my prom or senior pictures. She tried arguing and then said after I bought the materials, I could give her the receipt and she'd pay me back. Y'all, I was so uncomfy. I told her very quietly that I would need the money up front because I couldn't risk not getting paid back for it since I had just spent so much on my boyfriend's gift and I was trying to save money. She got all huffy and said she'd only give me $50 and she wanted me to buy special hooks made of bamboo because they're better for the yarn. I told her that a completely new set of hooks and needles made of bamboo would probably be over $30 for a halfway decent set, and I didn't think $50 would cover the yarn, much less the yarn in the new hooks. She started going off on me for being a gold digger. Again, I was 17, and while his grandparents were fairly well off, his mother was not at all. I also had never had her pay for anything for me, and if we went out, I always tried to pay for myself unless she was snippy. And I told my boyfriend he couldn't date me. He was a mama's boy, but actually told her that I was trying to be nice since when I had talked about making a purse for myself, I said that I had to wait since the yarn would be about 75-ish, and he pointed out all the hours it would take me to do, etc. I was just wanting to make sure materials were covered, not even my time. She ended up not wanting me to make anything for her since I was too stuck up, and we carried on with Valentine's Day. But she brought up for years after that until we broke up. How was I too stuck up to make her purse for a reasonable price? I have this all the time. When I crochet something, people think I charge way too much, when in all reality, I normally never make money off of it. Yarn is expensive. Thanks for listening. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Subscribe to our podcast and like us on Facebook.